folks, welcome to Yogaphyziozone again for the second in our Beat the Bug yoga series. Just trying to keep ourselves occupied during this coronavirus situation. So today I've decided to do a class, just a short class about shoulders, and I suppose shoulders are really important because I'm a physio as well. So when we're actually treating shoulders, we actually end up treating nearly the whole upper body, because your shoulders are connected to your neck muscles, they're connected to your collarbones, they're connected to your rib cage the whole way down towards your waist, and of course your thoracic spine, which is your upper back there as well. So when the shoulder is stiff, we usually find it's actually a lot of the time not the actual shoulder joint itself, it's actually all the structures that it's attached to that could be stiff. So it's a real minefield, but it's kind of a fun one to treat. But we have to be mindful of that when we're actually doing yoga on the shoulder as well, that if our shoulder won't reach a certain way or whatever, it may not be the shoulder itself, it could be the rib cages that are stiff, it could be your neck that's the problem area. So always go easy on your shoulders, right? And particularly if you have an injury, really don't push it. I mean, there are some injuries you can push through, but I would recommend not pushing through shoulder injuries so much. They can be a bit troublesome and slow to heal if you do. So just listen to what your body will do, okay? So we're going to do a kind of a shoulder-based class. It's going to be short, but hopefully you'll enjoy it and it'll give you some things to work on. I'm going to move my mat a little bit so you can kind of see me a small bit better, okay? So basically what I want you to do is to get you to lie down on your mat. I'm just going to move this a little bit lower so you can see me a bit better. Okay, there we go. So you're going to lie down on your mat, on your back. Okay. And then just lying, letting your body just settle into the mat. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears, okay? They're going to be the focus today. And on the next in-breath, just stretching the hands overhead, okay? Now for some people, their arms won't reach the ground, they'll be hanging up here somewhere. That's fine as long as it's not sore, or you can prop them up on something like a pillow or something like that if you're more comfortable that way. So I'm just going to get you to breathe into that position, and I certainly find when I breathe into that my lower ribs, that area there, I can really feel the stretch there. Excuse me. So just stretching and reaching on the in-breath and releasing. We're not going to worry about the lower body today. And again, stretching out on my reach and coming back down. Okay. Now the next stretch, and we did this in yesterday's class, just going to get the hands behind our neck, or as we say in Ireland, the pole of your head, and let your elbows drop out to the side. Now that's externally rotating your shoulders. If your shoulders are hunched, you won't be able to get your elbows so far down. So if you can kind of bring your shoulder blades down your back, your elbows will actually spread out further and you'll get a better stretch at the front here, the pectoral muscles here, okay? So you're going to stretch out there, and then bending up the knees, keeping the feet on the mat there. Roll first of all over towards your left hand side, or maybe for you it'll be your right hand side if you're mirroring me. And trying to keep those shoulders in contact with the ground. We're just going to put a big stretch across the body. And then coming back in, and then stretching with the knees in the opposite direction. And trying to lengthen that position between the elbow and the hip on that stretched side. So it's really kind of, it's the oblique line of muscles that are kind of actually probably the side meridian of muscles as well. So yeah, just stretching, and if your shoulder is kind of hunched up a little bit, see if it'll come away from your ear again, and then coming back to the center position. Now straighten out your legs, and then you're going to spread your arms. You're on the cross here, spreading your arms, whatever your wingspan is, and that's going to be your starting position. Okay, so going to raise, I'm going to pick my right leg, whichever you want to do first, lifting it up, And then up about 30 degrees, and I'm actually going to twist it over my body, over the other leg. So I'm kind of rolling on to my left hand side, okay? But all the while trying to keep this, both arms outstretched. So it's a really good rotational stretch. Okay, now some people find if they get their foot the whole way over onto the ground that their arm lifts up. That's okay, as long as it's not hurting. Because after a couple of breaths, you might find that it starts to kind of settle down towards the ground. So that's a really good. Now you don't have to worry about keeping your legs straight or bent, whatever feels good, but you should be feeling that you're getting a really good oblique stretch. In my case, from my right shoulder over towards my left shin, actually. Left calf muscle probably. Okay, and coming back, and let's do it on the other side. For me, it's my left hand side, so I'm going to lift up that left leg and I'm going to cross it over my body, over towards the right, and all the while trying to keep this other arm from coming up in the air. But if it does, again, it doesn't matter. But try and get that foot onto the ground. So if you have to roll over onto the side of your body, that's fine. And letting that, for me, it's my left arm just flopping back down as near to the ground. And after a couple of breaths, it'll actually get closer. So that's a really good rotational stretch as well. So that really gets the pectoral muscles there, the muscles at the top of the arm, kind of the top of, near the top of the biceps, I'd say there, deltoid, some of those muscles. So that's a really good stretch. Love that one. Yeah, it's one of my favourite ones actually. Okay, and then coming back to baseline. Alright, so I'm going to get you to come over on your side. Okay. We're going to do this on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you want to do this on first. I'm doing this on my right side. So we're going to do a little bit of a side plank, okay? I'll just move up onto my mat a little bit. So try and get the elbow right under the shoulder, and when you actually lift up with your body, you really want to be engaging these muscles here. You really want to feel that you're contracting here, that you're not kind of just sinking down into it and letting your elbow take all the weight, but that your upper arm is actually taking a nice bit. Now see if you can lift the bum up. Now if that's very difficult, bend your knees because it reduces the leverage and then you can do it. But really what I want you to feel in this position is that your shoulder girdle muscles are really, really contracting and you're not sinking down and letting your elbow do all the work, okay? So you're really feeling these muscles along here are working. Now if you really want to be fancy, you can lift up that upper leg, whatever you want to do, it's up to yourself. Okay, and then do the same on the other side. So you're going to roll over and then do it on the other side like this. And again, getting the elbow directly under the shoulder there, and then lifting up. So as I said, you can bend your knees, makes it easier, or for some people, if you put one foot in front of the other, that can make it a small bit easier as well. But you want to feel that you're doing some of the work up here, at least 50%, that it's not all your forearm and your elbow doing the work. And also these muscles underneath here, quadratus lumborum, some of those guys are working really strongly. Okay, so come over onto your stomach, and we're just going to do a very nice shoulder pose called open wing. I'm going to get my belt out of the way there. So you're going to lie, so this is for the pectoral muscles, which are the ones in front of the shoulder there. So you're going to lie on your tummy. For me, it's going to be my right arm. I'm going to get the right arm out to the side, so it's stretching out away from me in a straight line. And then my left hand is just right in front of my face like this, okay? And then what I'm going to do with this hand that's looking at my face, the left hand, I'm going to push my body over onto the right side. And if you want, you can get that upper leg to kind of go back and onto the ground. But what it does is it actually stretches out the muscle on the front of the right shoulder. So you'll see it more clearly when I'm doing it on the other side. Just give yourself a minute there, settle into it. Okay, I'm coming back around. And then you'll see more clearly what I'm doing in this one. So now that's outstretched, I'm going to turn my head to face, my left hand is outstretched, I'm going to turn my head to face the right. I'm going to put this hand in front of my face, the right hand in front of my face. And I'm going to just turn myself onto my left hand side, getting this right leg. Whatever it wants to go, wants to stay here, if it wants to go back a bit further. But I can really feel that on the front of this arm here. And that's where I want you to feel it, okay? So we're going to do that once more on each side, just because that's kind of hard one to get when you haven't done it before. So this time I'm going to stretch my right arm out to the side. I'm going to get my left hand in front of my face, looking towards my left. I'm going to stretch myself over onto my right side, and I'm going to feel that at the front of my right shoulder. Now go easy on this one. You know, you might find that you have to bring your arm up or down or whatever to kind of get a stretch that's kind of suitable for you, okay? And then coming back, and now we're going to do open wing on the other side, pushing myself over into the left side of my body. And back. Lovely. Now just line your tummy again, spread your arms wide like this in front of you towards the side, and then just kind of going up and down with the shoulders, just trying to get a little bit of internal and external rotation there. So the shoulder is just full of all these different movements, so this is kind of working a little bit of abduction, but internal and external rotation there as well. Okay, just whatever they feel like doing this morning. Okay, so we're going to come up on all fours. Now we were doing this yesterday. When you're on all fours, i.e. like this, okay, you want to be putting the weight on the bases of your fingers and thumb, okay? So that's where the weight is going. You can claw the ground a little bit if you want, so you're putting a little bit of weight on the pads and the fingers like that as well. Some people find that really works. Now if you sore wrists, okay, you might want to come up on your wrists like that. That's acceptable too, okay? But anyway, here you are on all fours, okay? So your knees are under your hips, your hands are under your shoulders. And what we want to do then is turn the arms so that the creases of your elbows are now facing forward. So you're rotating your arms around. Some yogis call this wrapping the triceps, okay? So, but anyway, so there you are. So that's kind of your starting position. Now, what that does is it really engages these shoulder blade muscles here. And it protects your neck, all right? So here we are. Now before we go any further, what we're going to do in that position is we're going to do some shoulder girdle work. So the shoulder girdle is this whole area here around the shoulder joint. So first of all, this is called elevation. This is one we're probably really familiar with because a lot of us kind of when we're stressed we go like that anyway. And this is called depression. Okay, so elevation, depression, elevation, depression. When I'm telling you to get your shoulders away from yours, it's usually depression that I'm talking about. So this movement here. So we're going to try and do that on all fours. Okay, so going back on all fours, and again wrap those triceps. So you're going to roll the upper arms around so that the shoulder or the elbow creases are facing forwards. And in that position, we're going to try and shrug the shoulders and press them. So bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, bringing the shoulder blades down the back. Elevation, depression. Probably not doing this as good as I should be doing. My neck is getting involved. But anyway, trying to shrug the shoulders, trying to bring them away from the ears. Shrugging the shoulders, bringing them away from the ears. And of course, the temptation is for those elbows to bend, but try not to let them bend. That is actually quite hard to do. And then you're trying not to sink in with your lower body and do all this kind of stuff. So try and keep your lower body fairly still. We're going to do 5 more of those. Again, push into the pads of your hands, roll the upper arms around. Let's start again and do 5 more. So we're going to shrug the shoulders towards the ears and then bring the shoulders away from the ears. Elevation, depression. Ooh, this is hard. Elevation, depression. Did I really say 10? Elevation, depression, elevation, depression. Thank God that's the last one. Okay. God, I was feeling really ambitious there, wasn't I? Okay. So the other two movements of your shoulder area are protraction and retraction. So protraction is kind of when you're feeling a little bit of bad posture. That's what we call it. Some people would argue that, but anyway. And then, so instead of coming up and down, forwards and back. Now how we do this when we're in the all fours position, again, get your starting position, weight on the kind of the bases of the fingers, rolling the upper arms around. And then I'm going to just contract my shoulder blades together, which is retraction. And I'm pushing into the mat with my hands. I'm then going to kind of like push forward as if I'm trying to push into the mat. So some people call those shoulder shrugs. So that's retraction, protraction, number 3. And again, trying to keep the elbow straight. 4, 5, 6, 7. Your neck shouldn't be straining. If your neck is straining, you need to pull back a little bit, but you really need to make the shoulders work. That's 9 and 10. So that can be quite a hard one to do, but those are really good ones to practice for your shoulder blade areas. And the better and stronger your shoulder blade area is, the better your arms will be free to work without being encumbered by other tight muscles around them. Okay, so just coming up into the kneeling position, let's just do a little bit of kind of a kneeling crescent. So we're just kind of going to go bringing both arms up overhead. And then what you can do in this position is shrug your shoulders and then bring them down. And as you will notice, if you can see, I'm going to move back so you can see my upper arms. I can shrug the shoulders, I can get my hands really far up in the air, I can bring them back down. Personally, I find that even when my hands are outstretched, when I bring my shoulders away from my ears, I can breathe easier, but everybody's body is different. So often when you're in crescent, in particular standing crescent, people can find it really hard to breathe. I definitely find it easier if my shoulders are away from my ears, even though my hands are still up in the air. I find I can breathe a little bit easier. So, and back down. Okay. So really, what I wanted to show you was that when you do focus on your shoulders, it can change the pose for you. And you can put your focus on wherever you want. You can focus on your hips, and we'll be doing other classes when you're doing that. But we're going to try a couple of kneeling poses and while concentrating on our shoulders, just a couple of them. I didn't want to make this a long class this morning. So I'm going to get you to come up on your right knee. I'm on my left one, but I think it'll work better if you go up on your right knee. Okay. And then, okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to go on my right knee as well. Oh, I was right the first time. So, I'm going to get you to come up on probably your left knee, because then you can mirror what I'm doing here. So if you're on your left knee here, so what you want to do is you want your hips to be squaring the front of your mat, okay? And you really pull your lower belly up towards your navel to give you stability here. And then I'm going to get you to put the 2 hands down on the mat on either side of your foot, okay? So your left knee is bent. I now want you to lift the left arm up in the air as well, okay? So it's a little bit of a side angle, a kneeling side angle, okay? But what I want you to do in this position is really focus on not even getting that arm as high as you can, but trying to broaden the collarbone area here. So really trying to broaden the collarbone area into the twist. So we're really trying to broaden that front of the chest area there. What you'll find if you do that, the arm is usually freed out a little bit. It also helps if you're not hooking your shoulder up towards your ear, because it's really hard to lift the arm up there, but if you get your shoulder away from the ear, it'll usually free the arm up a little bit more. Well done. And coming back down. Okay. Whew, it's hard, isn't it? So then we're going to go to do a kneeling twist. So again, I've got my right leg forward. I think for you it'll work better if you have your left one forward so we can look at each other. And then what I want you to do then is twist towards the side of that knee that's bent up in front of you. So you're twisting. And then once you twist with your waist, see if you can bring your arms out to the side. And again, I usually find if I twist and get as big a twist as I can with my waist, get my shoulders away from my ears, then my arms are a bit freer. Whereas if I kind of try and twist from my shoulders with my shoulders around my ears, I'll only get that far. So shoulders away from the ears, twisting around. I'm trying to breathe and lengthen the front of the chest. You can see it makes you a bit breathless, doesn't it? You don't look like you're doing a lot, but you are. Okay. And coming back down. So let's do that on the other side. For me, I'm now lifting my left leg in front of me. That might work well for you. But we're going to call this the right one so that you can kind of mirror me. So right leg in front of you. 2 hands down in front and framing the foot. And then lifting the arm, the right arm, the one on the same side as that front knee, lifting it up to this side. Now one side is always better than the others, right? There's always one side that's a bit easier. For me, I find this side a little bit easier to get up in the air. So you can play around with your shoulder, can be down here, it can be up here. Try and get your shoulder away from the ears and that depression that we talked about earlier. So elevation is where your shoulders are to your ears. Depression is where they're away. So it just gives you a little bit more length, okay? And breathing, don't forget to breathe. You can even look up towards that hand up in the sky. Good. And coming back down. And then let's come up into a high kneeling position. And so your right knee is in front of you in this position here. And then twist towards the right. So you're twisting towards the side where that knee is bent in front of you. You're twisting around. So again, you might find it easier first of all to twist with your hands on your waist and then trying to open up. But again, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep them down. Ooh, it's hard to breathe in that position. For me anyway. Okay, well done. So just to finish up, we're going to do a couple of standing poses. Again, in that standing position, in our standing poses, sorry, I thought I saw a mouse out in my back garden. So in some of our standing poses is just really to again focus on our shoulders. So we'll just pick about 3 standing poses and see if we can focus on the shoulders. Okay, so coming up into standing, let's just do warrior 2. That's a great pose. So I'm going to get you to stand with your right leg forward, get your left leg back. So you're kind of going to be facing the side of your mat with your body. Now again, in this position, if you shrug your shoulders, it's going to be really hard for you to breathe in this position. So shoulder blades down the back, shoulders away from the ears. And then you're trying to breathe and looking out over that front middle finger. Keep your legs strong. Warrior 2. And then let's just come into a triangle position, so we're going to straighten our legs. So again, our front leg is facing the front of the mat, back leg is facing the side of the mat. Tip forward with that front arm and then coming down with that front arm, to your shin, or maybe you'll be up above your knee, and then trying to lengthen out again. Think of your shoulders. Lengthen out the position between your collarbones, trying to get your wingspan coming the whole way down. So if you've gone too far down into the pose, you might find that's too difficult. So come back up if you need to, but try and get that upper arm nice and stretched out so that your wingspan, you're really feeling your wingspan. Okay, tuck your bum in as well if it's kind of not giving you enough stability. And then looking up towards that upper arm. So again, just focusing on the shoulder aspect of this pose. Okay, we're going to do all that on the other side. Okay, so you're going to face the other side of your mat. Right leg forward, left leg back, or whatever was opposite to what you were doing. And again, getting yourself nice and strong, weight on the outside of that back leg and square on the four corners of the foot on the front leg. Tuck your bum in, pull your lower belly up towards your navel, get your shoulders away from your ears, and then arms out. So you're thinking of your shoulders, how wide can I splay them so that they're in a nice straight line, and then looking out over the front middle finger and breathing. So really when you're doing this pose, you're trying to keep the bottom half of you nice and strong. You're trying to keep the top half of you open and wide and able to breathe and all those nice things. Okay, let's come up out of that. Okay, and we're getting ready for triangle pose. With both knees are straight at this point, going to tip forward with the front arm and then come down with that arm to your shin or maybe to your thigh, and trying to get that upper arm overhead. So again, think of your wingspan, trying to get the two shoulders in line with each other. But that doesn't always work. Sometimes you just don't have the flexibility. If your breathing is getting caught, come back up your leg with that, with your hand, so that you're not so far down towards your ankle. That's my hip clicking. And then just see if you can relax that upper arm so it's not tensing towards your ear, but it's relaxing. And coming back. Lovely. So nearly finished. We're going to do a couple of shoulder specific stretches. So one of these is known as Gomukhasana. It's half of the Gomukhasana pose. So I'm going to get you to get your right arm and get it behind your head, trying to get the elbow pointed up as far as you can, and then the left arm, you're going to bring that behind your back. So sometimes, if you're lucky, they'll meet in the middle. I can do it on this side, I can't do it on the other side, so everybody's different. The aim is to try and get your elbows as far apart as you can. So this upper elbow here is stretching away from the lower elbow. Ooh, I'm trying to breathe. Ah. Okay. And then rotating around the other way. Now I just can't reach in this position, mine won't meet. Now sometimes if they don't meet, this is where a belt comes in. You can kind of get a belt and your upper arm, you can hold on to the upper part of the belt, and then with your lower hand, you can kind of then try and pull them closer together. So that kind of works as well. Okay? So I'm getting a little bit better on Gomukhasana, and that's it because I have the help of the belt. Okay. So that's it, my friends. That's our shoulder class for today. If you want, you can give yourself a little 5-minute Shavasana now. I'm not going to do it for you. But well done. And maybe the next time you're doing a couple of your standing poses or your kneeling poses, focus, instead of on your legs, try and focus on your shoulders for a little bit. Where are my shoulders? Where are my neck muscles? All of that. And again, go easy on yourself. If you've got a shoulder injuries, you just got to be careful. and listen to your body. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you again tomorrow for more fun and frolics. Namaste.